I got an interesting question for you. If you live anywhere in the northern states, do you believe in global warming now, if you didn't already? Well, with the recent weather that we've had, notably a 75-degree day in the middle of February, maybe you change your mind. Maybe you change your opinion on that. What's up, Ohio? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Broulis Beat Report. I am your host, Nick Broulis. This edition of the Broulis Beat Report is brought to you, as always, by Cafe 80s. If you're a person that loves if you're a person that loves 80s music, you really need to check out Cafe 80s. They have a website, thecafe80s.net, or if you have that Bands in Town mobile app, you need to follow them on Cafe 80s or search for them on Facebook simply by typing in The Cafe 80s. They will be down in Dover, Ohio at Martini 97 this Saturday. They will be starting at 9:30 with a sound check at 9 o'clock. So if you want to check out 80s music, I highly encourage you going down to Martini 97 down in the Dover, Ohio area. And even if you live in the Canton area, you could just a nice little 20-minute drive down to the Dover, New Philadelphia area. Well, today is Monday, February 27th, 2017, and as always, I like to start out with my Broulis Big Board countdowns. As far as I can remember, checking up on my countdowns just before I left, we are 21 days away from spring. That warmer weather is obviously getting here quickly, faster than most people anticipated probably. And the NFL Draft from Philadelphia is 59 days away. And for all you thrill seekers out there, Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, opens in 69 days. Yes, yours truly is getting pretty excited about that, to say the least. Well, I missed 1 week, so naturally I have a lot to catch up with. So I'm going to start out with some NBA news. You already should know about the Cousins and Buddy Hield trade from the Pelicans to the Kings. Okay, so this is the opinion side of me, obviously. I think this was an absolutely dumb move on the Sacramento Kings' part. Number one, DeMarcus Cousins can become a free agent next year, this summer, all right? So the New Orleans Pelicans are trying to close the gap between them and the Warriors. Well, guess what? You're going to need more than DeMarcus Cousins to close that gap between you and the Warriors. And you're going to need a lot more to close that gap. Number two, DeMarcus Cousins isn't exactly looked at as your ideal locker room player. Most people call him a cancer in the locker room. So you're going to have to impress him with just this one half a season, if you will, of being on your team. So I think that the New Orleans Pelicans made a huge mistake in trading Buddy Hield to the Kings for DeMarcus Cousins. So you have that, and also Buddy Hield was a good guard. I think he was a really good player. I think that they could have really developed a nice core of players with Anthony Davis and Buddy Hield. Also now, the Raptors made a trade. They got Serge Ibaka from Orlando. They claim that that's going to be able to help them close the gap between them and the Cavs. I don't believe that's going to be the case. And as far as I know, from everything I've been reading, the Cavaliers will pick up, due to being waived from their teams, Darren Williams and Andrew Bogut. Darren Williams will back up Kyrie Irving, and Andrew Bogut will be the backup center. I like both these moves personally. Darren Williams is definitely a solid backup. He's not expected to give the Cavs big time numbers or anything like that, but just somebody to give Kyrie Irving a break from playing, and also LeBron a break from playing at the point guard position. And Andrew Bogut will be that defensive rebounding enforcer down near the rim that the Cavs have needed all season long. And I think that's going to be a positive pickup for the Cavs. Next up, with the lack of trades, there's really no change in power in terms of teams that have really drastically improved. And right now, the NBA is still expecting, from at least from my standpoint especially, it's going to be a rematch in the finals for the third straight year, Cavs and Warriors. You really can't You can't look at it any other way based off of what the teams around them, the moves that they've made. Now, speaking of the Cavs, they have a game tonight when they host the Milwaukee Bucks. LeBron James is questionable with a strep throat. And then they are at Boston, at Atlanta on Friday night, and then Saturday at Miami. Now, March is going to be a very, very brutal month for the Cavs. It is a big road test. They have 17 games. 5 of them are at the Q. 12 of them are on the road. 5 back-to-backs. That's going to be a tough test for the Cavs if they want to remain as the number 1 seed in the East. Now, here's something that I caught as I was on my way over here to the studios today. Since LeBron came back to Cleveland, the Cavs are 4-12 when he is not in the lineup. And this season alone, they are 0-4. Now, if I'm Coach Tyronn Lue, LeBron's not playing tonight against the Bucks. I need the Cavs to prove to me that they can win without LeBron being in the roster, being in the lineup for that night. Now, I get it. There's no Kevin Love along with that. No J.R. Smith. I understand that. But you should still be able to beat maybe half the teams in the league when LeBron's not on the court. That's my opinion. So if I'm Lou, I'm keeping him out. That's just how it's going to be. Now, something I heard on the way over here, this is kind of a breaking news type thing. Kyle Lowry, the star point guard for the Toronto Raptors, he is going to have wrist surgery, and he is expected to miss a significant amount of time. He is going to try to be back for the first round of the NBA playoffs. Now, in my opinion, depending on who the Raptors play in the first round, if he's not playing, there's a very good chance that the Raptors could actually lose their first round if Kyle Lowry is not in the lineup. And on a final note when it comes to the NBA, Richard Hamilton had his number 32 jersey retired by the Detroit Pistons over the weekend, and he deserves it. He was a great player for the Detroit Pistons for a while, and this is kind of a segue into something else that I've been meaning to ask a lot of people. And my good buddy Andy, who is from Michigan, he's a big Pistons fan. Andy, I know you're going to be watching this at some point in time. And I've been meaning to ask you this, and of course I get sidetracked. Game 5 of the 2007 Eastern Conference Finals. I'm asking you as well as other people this. Why didn't the Detroit Pistons force LeBron to pass the ball in that game? I think he scored the Cavs' last 25 points of that game. That's my question to you. I've been meaning to ask you that for a long time now, and I've just kept on getting sidetracked. Why didn't they force him to pass the ball? Because nobody else was making shots for the Cavs. So that's my little question for you, Andy, and anybody else for that matter. You can even ask me on Twitter if you'd like. My Twitter handle is @NBroulis. That's spelled N as in Nancy, B as in boy, Roulis. You can feel free to follow me on Twitter if you would like. Now let's move on to the NFL. The Browns released wide receiver Andrew Hawkins today. Last year was the final year of Hawkins' 3-year deal with the Browns, I believe, which it does not come to no shock to me, especially after the Browns drafted, I think it was 3 or 4 wide receivers. And there is no news on Terrell Pryor, so don't ask me if there's any news on that. I will say this, though. They really need to get a deal done with him sooner rather than later, because if they don't, he will find a new home unless they franchise tag him. NFL free agency starts March 9th. Now, in terms of AFC North teams, the Steelers and wide receiver Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown has 1 year left on his current deal, which he's scheduled to make $8.7 million this season. But the Pittsburgh Steelers would actually like to sign him to a long-term extension even before the new league year starts, which is on March the 9th, coincidentally, free agency as well. So if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, this is obviously good news for you because he's one of the top 3 wide receivers in the NFL. I believe he was second in reception yards this season. So good news for Pittsburgh fans if they can get a long-term deal done with Antonio Brown. Speaking of wide receivers, the Bears do not think that they're going to use the franchise tag on their star wide receiver, Alshon Jeffries. They are actually looking to sign him to a long-term deal as well. Now, I've had this question thrown at me a couple times, so I wanted to make sure that I had it right. There are two different tags in the NFL. There is the franchise tag and there is the transition tag. Now, I'm going to break it down for you and simplify it for you so that you can understand it when you hear people talk about it. This is what a franchise tag is. Each team has one franchise tag that they can use on one player. Now, they can only tag a player 3 times while he's with the team. Now, if you franchise tag a player, he is paid similar to the top 5 players in his position. But again, they cannot be tagged more than 3 times. Now, there is also the transition tag. Okay? A player can be tagged and another team can offer him a contract. All right? Then, if his current team can either choose to match that offer sheet from the other team and retain that player, or they can let him go. But if they let that player go, they do not get any compensation for that player, which teams try to avoid that at all costs, especially if he is a good player. So I just wanted to simplify that for people in case they, were wondering, well, what is a franchise tag or a transition tag? There you go. I just wanted to help simplify that for all you football fans out there. Now, the Chiefs have a dilemma on their hands. Their star Pro Bowl safety, Eric Berry, he is not expecting a new deal anytime soon. And this is what he had to say the other day, and I quote, "I'd rather sit out rather than play under the franchise tag." Now, they have a predicament on their hands. They can either tag Eric Berry, their safety, or their star defensive tackle, Dontari Poe. It's an interesting situation that they have there in Kansas City. The Patriots tight end, Martellus Bennett, will likely test free agency. And Eric Gronkowski, he thinks that he should pretty much break the bank. So it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up, to say the least. And over the weekend, the Jets released their 7-time Pro Bowl center, Nick Mangold. And if you follow me on Twitter or follow me on Facebook, you will know that I said, hey, there is a certain team out there, the Browns, that desperately need a new center. And I'm not saying that he should be signed to a long-term deal by any means, but he would be an excellent Band-Aid, if you will, until they find a proven center. Because Cameron Irving, the center out of Florida State from a couple years ago, he's proven that he is not qualified to be a center at the NFL. Maybe a right tackle at best. Now, one little side note for Major League Baseball, Cleveland Indians all-star second baseman Jason Kipnis received a cortisone shot over the weekend in his shoulder because he was diagnosed with a strained rotator cuff, and the team will shut him down for 4 to 5 days, and then they will get him back to going and throwing as normal. So there you go with the sports side of things. Now, to finish the show, you know that I always want to bring up Swole Sports. You know that I'm big into health and fitness and working out and all that stuff. Check out swolesports.com. They've got a couple different supplements that you can take, whether you're looking to lose some weight or if you're ready to take something that really gets you going before you're going into the gym to work out. I personally take the pre-rec workout supplement. It really makes me want to pound the weights more so than, just eating like a peanut butter sandwich or something like that. But again, check out swolesports.com. They got some good products there. And they also got some good blogs to educate you on different things as well. Well, my name is Nick Broulis, and that does it for this edition of the Broulis Beat Report. Until next Monday, have a great week, everyone.